Hello, this is Bev Ratcliff sitting on the stoop with Bobby Cappuccio. And quick question that I'm just going to ask Bobby right now is, what I'm wondering is there are so many people doing different things in our industry and going to different angles and talking about their, their beliefs and their education. And what I'd really love to know is, when do you think somebody reaches that point where we would class them as an expert or a guru in our field and somebody to really pay attention to? What is it when they cross that line, when they really are somebody that sparks your interest and somebody that you want to listen to?
Well, how should I know? What do I know about expertise? My God. Anyway, so if I did know about expertise, my answer would be this.
Would be thus.
Now, I think this story became very, very popular in the movie 2012. There was this one scene, and it was taken from a Zen story about this professor who goes to see this Zen master. And this professor was a teacher of theology, a supposed expert for his entire life, and he was published in hundreds of publications, and he spoke all over the world on all these different religions and philosophy and the point of commonality. But he had this one master that was his inspiration, this one Buddhist monk, and he was fascinated with this man's life. And finally, he gets an invitation to go see this monk, and he arrives at the top of a mountain because that's where this very wise monk lives. Go figure. And the monk brings him in and invites him for a cup of tea, to which the professor is so happy to have a cup of tea with this iconic legend in his mind. I don't think the monk considered himself that, but it was his hero.
He's a monk. He's humble.
Exactly. Monks are very, very humble. So if you want to be a monk, you need humility. So he sits down with the monk, and the monk is pouring him tea. And as he's pouring the tea, the professor notices that the tea is coming very, very close to the brim, but he says nothing because he doesn't want to disrespect his hero, and because the monk's kind of old, he figures maybe he's a little bit slow. But then the tea starts pouring over the side of the cup, and onto the saucer, and then off of the saucer, and then onto the table, and then onto the floor, through the floorboards. The professor can't stand it anymore. He says, Your Holiness, I'm so sorry to be disrespectful, but do you notice that tea is going all over the place? And the monk smiles, puts down a pot of tea, and nods and says, well, I'm glad you noticed, because in many ways you are like this cup of tea. You're so full, there's no room for anything else. So I guess that's the first way that you know you're an expert, is never considering yourself an expert. Because in today's day and age, change is so rapid, it's so unpredictable, that the second we think we know anything, we're not capable of learning at the same rate and height that we were when we saw the world through the eyes of a novice and not an expert. And here's where expertise cuts both ways. It used to be that experience was a virtue, it was something to be pursued. Today, experience can be a hindrance, because what makes you relevant today might make you completely irrelevant tomorrow.
Goes into the next question I was going to ask you, actually, Bobby.
Okay.
At what point do you think being a guru or striving to be that figurehead in that industry actually hinders you?
The second you get in your head that you're a guru. Gurus suck. And here's why gurus suck. Because gurus seek to create followers. Leaders seek to create other leaders. Leaders have no desire to be center stage just for the sake of being center stage. They only take center stage when it's a necessary component of helping to drive the vision, something that they believe is bigger than they are, more important than they are. Their ego is not preeminent. The vision, the cause is preeminent. And when you can start to see other leaders popping up around you, that's the first sign that you might not be a guru, you might actually be a leader. When you're seeking to develop like-minded people, not trying to sell them, convince them, persuade them on pursuing your vision, but enrolling them in your vision because they have the same vision. So you don't go out and create other leaders, you find them. And that's a huge point of distinction, I think, anyway.
Absolutely. I would agree. What do you think the dangers are of following one guru and kind of blindly following that path? Almost, I'm going to follow this person, and I know this person's saying something over here, but I believe this guy said, I'm going to regurgitate what this guy says. Where are the dangers where you see someone completely going down one one avenue. Is that a danger? Is that not just somebody specialising, indeed? Double-edged sword, maybe?
That is a very, very good question. I don't think following one discipline for a given period of time makes you a follower. And, I don't think that being a follower for a time, because it comes with a sense of humility and a desire to learn, is a bad thing. Where I think we cross the chasm from helpful to potentially dangerous is when we lose our desire or even our capacity for independent thought, where we stop questioning things and we start taking things as given because of the source that they're coming from.
Absolutely.
And no one person has the answer. I mean, if you're watching this right now, you're pursuing education from an organization that's very eclectic, that embraces many people, because we know that all of our authors, all of our contributors are brilliant in their area, and they have something very unique to give. But not one of them has all the answers. So not one of them is as valuable as all of them together. And if you're going to follow a guru, make sure they have stylish robes. Because the last thing you want is to give up your capacity for independent thought, and then you're not even well dressed to show for it.